All right. Well, this is Sherry at the Daybreak Star Radio Network, and we are here with Allen Pinkham Jr.
Yes.
To discuss his art. So, Allen, please tell the people hello and what your art is.
Well, my name is Allen Pinkham Jr. My Nez Perce name is Potomacine, which means sweat house contest. I've been doing art since as a child. I learned beadwork from my mother and other female members of my family, including my grandmothers and even my sister. And so I do specialize in beadwork. I also teach it up at Tulalip High Bulb Museum currently. I've taught at other places in the past. I would think my artwork and beadwork is really an expression of not only some of the artistic, artistic flavors, because I do so many different types of styles of beadwork. I do everything from regalia to even copying some trademarks, which some of us do. I think if you've seen at some people, they'll have actually a trademark like a Nike or
Sports team.
Yes, I think teams. Yeah, sports teams are very popular. The Sonics, the Seahawks. So I'm sure if you've been to a powwow, you've probably seen those people wearing those necklaces. Doing beadwork has been even quite a journey for me, from doing it when I was in grade school, and my mother teaching me how to make little simple earrings with what I call the daisy stitch, and that's one of the first techniques I teach at my classes. I teach beginners the daisy stitch, and then I also teach intermediate and advanced techniques. The advanced techniques are more leaning toward what I call the two-needle method, the applique or line work, and that's most often what you see with regalia, the cuffs, the hiders, the side drops, hat bands, hair pieces, and that's mostly what I specialize in. Cut beads, size 13 cuts is what I mostly do, and I enjoy it. Even just recently, past 10 years, 15 years, I've been teaching, and I'm still even developing my teaching technique along with my beading. I strive for perfection each time. I don't achieve it, but it's just a goal I think all of us try to do in any endeavors or jobs that we have. We can never attain it, but we always strive for it. And
So
like
what do you like about teaching?
Teaching, I also teach the style that I was taught. Anytime my mother or anybody, even my uncles and other older members of my family, whether they were teaching me how to hunt or fish, that we also got a moral lesson or a value lesson that we were taught, different aspects of tribal life and values, and that's what I impart when I teach at beadwork. I'll tell them how I was taught, and things like, children are supposed to be seen and not heard. If you see something that needs to be done, you do it. You don't wait to be told to do it. You do it, and that's I think it's not only just a tribal value, but I think it's a human value to do things like that to help our not only family members but people in our community to improve your community and improve yourself. So I teach those values at the same time I'm teaching the beadwork, and it's just something that I express. It's my teaching style, and some people seem to appreciate it and enjoy that, and and I'm still developing my teaching style. I like anything else, I'm striving for perfection, and although I may not attain it in this lifetime, perhaps in the next lifetime.
We can always be hopeful.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So, what about your drum work and your drumsticks?
The drums, I started that back when I was a teenager. Me and another school buddy, we were the two teenage boys that got initiated into the old Nez Perce drum. That was all the members of the drum group. The Nez Perce singers were older men in their 70s. Sam Jackson, Cy Red Elk, Jim Morris, Oscar Brancho, Leo Brancho, Johnny Brancho, I believe. And we got a great honor to be the only teenage kids, much less anybody else, to get to join that drum. And I kind of shied away from that by the time I got into my 20s, but I realized that I still had a connection to the drum, so I started making drumsticks when I was living in Phoenix, and it kind of gives me a connection back to the drum, even though I realize some people say I got a nice sounding voice, but it doesn't translate to singing, unfortunately. I didn't have that strong of a voice, so I stuck with beadwork, and I even teach some hand drum classes. I've taught drumstick making to young Native children during the Northwest Indian Youth Conferences in the past. Nixiawe Tribal School near Pendleton, I've taught there, and other places. But it gives me a connection to back to the drum, even though I don't participate in it. And I still feel a great honor that that my tribe and that my community gave us this initiation right to the drum group of the Nez Perce Singers, because none of them are alive, obviously, anymore. This was way back in the late 70s when this happened, and those people, we can still hear their voices in the songs, and it and also I like wearing fedora hats like they did. I mean, they're all men of the 30s and 40s, 50s when that style was popular, and so I kind of doff my hat to them to wear a fedora. At the moment, I'm wearing a Pendleton hat.
It is nice.
So I use various symbols to honor past people of the past, and even some of my traditions, such as drumstick making. I think I've probably made close to 60,000 of them.
Wow. All by hand.
All by hand, and most of them, the vast majority of them, what I refer to as a contemporary style. They're made out of fiberglass, duct tape, embroidery thread, and leather. I do, however, made traditional style drums made out of wood and rawhide, but those are generally just special order. Mm-hmm. And I hope to make another 60,000 more.
Yeah. Well, you should be able to.
Yeah.
That'd be great. So how do you think your tribe, growing up with some of your elders, has influenced your work?
It influenced me quite a bit, that how to not only make regalia or drumsticks or hand drums, or even now my latest endeavor of doing canoe carving, that you improve your technique, that you're always learning from other people. My carvings of wood to make a canoe, I made one back in 2018. I got a lot of advice from people here on the coast. My mother was Yakima, enrolled Yakima and Cowlitz and Skokomish, so I have that lineage in my bloodline. But I've asked various canoe carving masters such as Ray Freiberg, um, James Red Eagle of the Haida tribe, and they given me a lot of good advice. And even more importantly was my uncle Thomas Mosquito. When he was part of our household in Longview, Washington, he carved miniature canoes, and I was only just 3 or 4 years old watching him carve those. And I didn't really say I wanted to be a canoe carver then. I was still learning beadwork, but just watching him and learning some of the first things about picking a tree and on what side do you carve on. And just a simple lesson is you try and float your tree so you get the center of gravity of it, because trees don't grow evenly. They're heavier on one side than the other.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did with my logs that I worked with. Is I put them in the Wallowa Lake and floated them and marked the tops. So it that lesson was imparted to me way back in the late 60s and early 70s when I was a child. Probably gave away my age right there.
Yeah.
At least my age range.
Thank you. We've been here today with Allen Pinkham Jr., and it has been great to have you in. Thank you so much for coming to talk with us.
Well, thank you, Sharon. No, I'm sorry.
Okay, start again.
Yeah, we can